make the strings.
What's up, guys? We're trying an iPhone vlog today. Check out this baby. What are you doing? Baby, where are we going? What are we doing? What did your daddy buy today? Alright. So we are we're trying out the iPhone vlog, Jamie.
Oh.
We're seeing how it is. So this is gonna be 100% strictly shot on the iPhone today. And so Jamie, you wanna go ahead and tell everybody what happened, what it did?
We're about the third dirt bike
Third dirt bike
of
this
the week. Yeah. Okay.
That's not bad. Alright, let's
Three in a week.
Let's go get it. Hi guys, we're at this little auction thing. This is like a little local guy.
This is what we need for drift events.
Yeah, we do. But here she is, 2016.
No, this right here.
No, I know that, but this isn't bad either. So yeah, 2016 350 xcf-w, and yeah, I believe that this one's should be the street legal one. It has a license plate thing on it, and then so the the gear shifter is off of it. I don't know why. And it looks like somebody kind of laid it down a little bit, but I mean it's not in bad shape. I guess it has like 20 hours or something. Yeah, 20 hours. That's not bad. So hopefully you guys like the iPhone vlog. Tight, yeah. Don't mind, Dave. What do you think? You think I needed this?
I think we need that.
Yeah, that isn't bad. I like this razor. Holy crap. Yeah, but they got a bunch of stuff here. I haven't honestly been here in a couple of years. I've just been doing this damn online internet thing, and I should probably start coming to these ones again.
Yeah, so today in the wild auction, we got Trevor. He just got this KTM. It wrecks pretty good.
Alright, so as far as I can tell, the damage on this bike looks like somebody laid it over on the left side and they basically crushed the radiator. You can see that right there. So I'm unsure if it leaks or not. And then the other thing is it doesn't have a shifter. So you can see it's kind of goobered up right there because somebody used a pair of pliers on it, but I think I might be able to use this one. So I robbed the one off of the other 500, or the KTM 500, and yeah, so I want to take it for a little ride around the parking lot at least and see how it feels. Need to put a little bit of air in the front tire, and yeah, so I'm gonna do that real quick. So we're gonna fire this guy up. The battery in it's dead. Bike I've ever ridden. It's so nice. I think it idles kind of high, but yeah, it feels nice. You want to ride it? Jamie, what are you doing to that baby?
I'm changing her.
Anyhow, we went to the mall. Jamie spent like a jillion hours picking out clothes because
Okay,
we're gonna.
You spend a jillion hours getting a dirt bike. You could sit in the mall with me right now.
So we sat in the mall for 2 hours.
No, it was not.
It felt like an eternity in the mall, but
Oh yeah.
to pick out clothes because we're gonna take some family pictures in a couple days.
You know how I feel.
But we are waiting. So if you guys see my Instagram post, basically what happened is my buddy. So that was, I just got a Facebook Messenger call. He's on the other side of the parking lot. But basically I bought a KLX110L off of Facebook Marketplace. I had my buddy down in Texas, Mustang 09, when we went down there for, what did we go down there for? To pick up the Supra, the daily Supra. Went down there and he helped us out, and basically he went and looked at that car before me. You know, made sure it was good before I went down there for the Supra, and then I was just messing with him, and I would like send him a link to like a cheap KLX110L, and he's like, hey, do you want me to go look at that thing? I was like, I don't know how I'd get it back, because like there wasn't any like reasonably priced ones here. And so anyhow, one of some drifter friends from Texas are actually moving here to Colorado, and he made a post on his Facebook. He's like, hey, does anybody need a ride to Colorado? And I was like, does a pit bike count? So he said yeah, they got some extra room on the trailer. So we're pulling up to them right now. Basically, he has a Mustang GT350R, and then his girlfriend, or no, his wife, she has this Nissan 370Z or 350Z HR drift car. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing loaded up. So yeah, this is that's a little dirt bike, KLX110L, and this is Brittany. She's driving that in the GT350. They're actually trading this thing. So you guys are trading this thing for a Jeep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you guys moved. So why did you move to Colorado?
Rubicon. Huh?
Why did you guys move to Colorado?
The mountain. Oh, they're not over here. The mountains.
The southern stuff.
The mountains that you can't see right now. Yeah, we're just into. We just wanted something new from Texas, man. That's cool.
And then this is your drift car.
Yeah, that's mine.
The 08.
2008 Nissan 350Z.
It's the HR.
HR, yeah.
That's cool. Well, I'm stoked to have you guys in Colorado. Another set of
We'll hang
drifters.
out for sure.
Pretty
So,
excited to be here.
and thank you guys for picking up the pit bike. That was awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's I don't think it could have worked out any better. Like,
Yeah, it worked
That
out
was good
pretty
timing.
good.
Yeah.
All right, so I just got back to the shop. And Dave, what are you tearing apart today?
Needed head.
For what?
The Audi.
And where did you get this?
Springs. You
How-
can see that's
how
all
much?
messed up. $200.
Okay.
mean,
So you got one good head.
A good head's worth $600.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I made out.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, here's the dirt bike. Honestly, like it's not really as clean as I thought it was gonna be, or like the guy describing it. He didn't tell me that the front brake didn't work. I knew that the kickstand was kind of busted off. I knew that the kickstand was busted off, but these things kind of look bent up. And then this thing, I seen that in the picture, but I mean, it seems to run all right. The grips are kind of crappy, and then he told me that like you can't get the electric start to work. So I don't know if that's just a battery thing or what. So I mean, it seems to run good. They gutted the exhaust, or took like the little tip off of it, so the exhaust is a little bit louder than stock. But the front brake kind of sucks. Maybe it's just the pads or something in there. But the rear brake seems to work, but it's kind of bent. So I could probably straighten that out, and that would probably be all right. But yeah, I might end up ordering like some cleaner plastics or something, or maybe like a graphics kit would probably clean these up. Or maybe I could just like primer them and paint them. Yeah?
Yeah, match the Supra.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, maybe I'll fire this thing up, go ride it around the parking lot.
It matches the drift car.
What?
Oh, I guess it's not silver.
Yeah, there's no. Well, I mean, the frame's silver. If those things were silver, it might be. All right. I don't really like how I mean, I would definitely like to do some like painting on this thing, like the frame and like the wheels and the hubs and stuff. I don't like that they're silver. I think it would look like a lot better black. But I did ride this thing around the parking lot a little bit, and this thing kind of sucks. So I'm gonna try to bend it real quick, and then go for another little ride, and then that's probably gonna be it for today. So it seems like it starts all right. I guess that's the good thing about it being a Kawasaki and an actual Japanese made bike, is because even if it looks kind of rough, it still runs great. So the other thing that I noticed was the hub in the back has a little bit of play in it. So I need to see how much play is okay. It might need like some bearings or something like that, or like a hub or
Maybe
some
wheelies were done on it.
yeah, maybe a lot of wheelies, but that's about it. We'll come back tomorrow and go ride some things. All right, so I went to Walmart and I grabbed a battery for this little bike. This is the one that it takes like $29 or something. But this is the one where it comes with the acid or whatever that you have to actually add to the thing. So I'll just pull those things off, let this acid go in there, and then I think you have to actually charge it for like 3 hours before you could actually put it in service. It's not one of the ones that's like ready to go or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the stuff draining in there, because you gotta let it drain in there and settle for a couple minutes too. So
Fun.
I'm trying it out because it has a good camera on it, so you might as well. So you know what, you might as well.
Yeah. Get some of that on your hands.
There's bad in it.
Oh, Fuck, that's how you do that shit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you basically just gotta like plug it in there. There's like some little caps. Kind of let it all bubble out. Sometimes they don't bubble and you gotta like smack them.
Get a needle and poke the top.
No, they're supposed to like bubble out, but yeah, you gotta let this thing set for a couple minutes and like 20 minutes, and then you can actually put this little cap back on it and then charge it. All right, Dave, fire it up.
Right.
Fire up the clown bike.
Did you put the battery in it or no?
No, you gotta kick it. You gotta put the thing back in. You'll see you'll hurt yourself on it. Do some wheelies, all right?
I haven't done a wheelie in fucking since I was like 8.
You'll be fine. You'll be just fine. Yeah. Don't break it, Dave. Don't maybe don't stand on the pegs.
I don't think they'll break.
I mean, they sometimes they do.
What is it like? What was it? Up is 1?
Then you go 1 down and 3 up. Like a big dog bike. We'll put that. We'll see how good that rear hub is.
I think the hub is
What do you think, Dave? It'd be kind of nice to have a neutral light on it, but yeah, I definitely think it needs some maintenance. But it already feels way better than it did because I tightened up the clutch, I tightened up the brake. I moved. It's like right in the middle. Yeah. There you go.
shut it off like that?
Yeah. You think I could do wheelies on it?
When I went over that, like when I was going around that turn that way, coming back, it felt like this was like wobbly.
Yeah. I guess probably just needs brakes. Probably not brakes. It probably needs a hub. Oh, I got a grip from Paul.
Or a bearing.
I just want to ride it everywhere. Tight. All right, so I got a bunch of little things kind of dialed in on this. I grabbed a new grip from my buddy, shop neighbor or whatever. I tightened the front brake, didn't work at all. And basically, there's like a little adjustment right here. And so I adjusted that, and then now the front brake works. So that's pretty cool, because I was like, man, this thing like really needs maintenance. Yeah, I adjusted the clutch basically the same way too. So the grip feels a lot better. I got this thing kind of stuck in there. The rear, I mean, it doesn't really feel hot, but I'm assuming the rear is not good. I definitely need to lube that chain and probably tighten the chain a little bit. It looks a little bit soft, but I guess I need to check and see how much slack is in it when I'm actually sitting on it, like fully compressed. I ordered another little shifter because this one just, it like hurts your foot, and I got like a bigger one, I think. It's like a little billet one. I got some cheap like $25 like breakaway levers, and then I need to kind of rebend or maybe extend this thing out just a little bit because I really don't like that, and it's also rubbing on the case right there, so that's definitely needs done. I want to change the oil, filter, all that stuff. For the KTM, I don't know what to do with it other than, well, basically the same thing. I need to kind of go over everything in it, kind of dial in what needs done on it, figure out what needs done, and then kind of go from there. But so I need to order another shifter, probably for this bike, and I'll put this one back on the 500. What else? A battery for this guy. Factory, I guess they're like a lithium ion. So I'll go ahead and order a battery for it. And then, yeah, change all the filters, oil. This right side radiator looks good, but this left one looks kind of dented. So I want to make sure that's all dialed, and then I guess, you know, make sure she's all good, and then from there, I guess it's time to take her for some rips and stuff. So put her straight into service. So yeah, the other thing is I got this is a voltage regulator I bought for the KTM, and I also purchased a rear seat, or a seat, because this is the tall seat, which is for like big boys like David, which is way too tall for me. But instead I basically got this exact replica, Stiglia della Valle, I don't know, Italy. So I got that exact seat for this bike. So it'll be a little bit more proportioned for me. We'll talk about this thing here in a little bit after I take it for a ride. I'm gonna pull it outside and start it up, let it warm up. I need to put a bolt in the seat. I don't know what happened with that, but somebody took it. Somebody took the bolt out of the seat. 20 hours. Oh, there we go. Fires right up. It is kind of weird. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I tightened up the seat so the seat isn't going to fall off. I took the little license plate bolts out of there so that this thing's not flapping around all doing a bunch of crazy stuff. And yeah, let's take it for a little bit of a ride. Yeah, well, she's warm enough.
Probably gonna go eat some dinner.
Alright.
You staying here late?
Probably like 9.
Take a shot back. You said you're hard to get a hold of.
Tell them to just come down here and pick it up. Huh? So he's buying the turbos?
Yes.
Yeah, tell him to come down here.
Yeah, he said that's the bucket for 3 things.
Yeah. Fine. Alright, there's nothing like after a nice cold ride, a nice cappuccino. This is like the best Christmas gift I've ever gotten. Jamie got me this for Christmas. And so now I get to I'm gonna make cappuccinos, hot chocolates, cup of noodles, all of it, all the way down here at the shop. Yep. Alright, so I got the little dude battery over here. Battery charger charging. You're only supposed to charge these things at like 2 amps for like, I don't know, like 2 to 3 hours depending on the size of the battery. So I'll talk about this thing in a minute, but I started messing with the KTM a little bit and basically ended up kind of killing the battery, kind of messing with it. So I've been basically kind of just hot wiring it, or kind of jumping this red wire and this orange wire. That's the only way I could get it to run. But it's weird because when you hit the ignition switch, this has power for a second, this orange and red, or this white and orange, and that's technically the ones that are supposed to be twisted together. So, and the other odd thing is I don't know, if you give it power, it pops the fuse right here, which is odd. I don't know, the KTM like wiring diagram that I got, it's kind of confusing. I don't know, it's hard to say what's like power and ground and how the switches and everything work. I'm not like super crazy good at reading electrical stuff, but yeah, so anyhow, it does run. Doesn't run as good as it did the other night. I think the fuel pump's not like actually working or something, or priming, or I think we had one of these other wires like hooked together. So honestly, what I was kind of thinking, since this is the EXC, this one has a different wiring diagram than like the XCF or the exc-w or whatever, because that's more of like an off-road bike, and then this is more of like the street legal version with the ignition switch. But since the ignition switch has been deleted, that would be easy to kind of work on there, because this bike, it basically has a like a start switch right here, and then a kill switch over here, and then the horn and stuff. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what I should do, or if I should just order this actual harness for the bike and then just do the little ignition switch delete. There's like a little $5 plug that basically just jumps the wires, but I'm assuming there is some sort of a short in this harness somewhere. So honestly, I don't even really want to mess with it a whole lot. Dave thinks we could pull it off and like, test everything and make sure it's all right. But I mean, I think it would be, at the end of the day, just better to go ahead and buy the actual OEM, like brand new harness for it. I'm in this bike for, a really, really cheap price compared to what they go for. So yeah, I don't know. The plan with this thing initially was going to be to try and trade it for a 350. And so what basically happened with this is what I'm going to explain to you guys is, so my buddy, the other guy here in the shop, he does a lot of stuff with dirt bikes all the time. And he basically called me and he's like, hey, I'm at this auction today, and they have like your bike here, like your exact bike that you've been wanting forever, which is a KTM 350. I didn't even really know that I wanted like the XCF. I kind of wanted like the XCF, but not necessarily the W. I hadn't done a whole lot of research, but I never rode one of these KTM 350s, and I always heard that they're like the perfect blend in between like a 250 and a 450. My personal riding, I used to do a little bit of motocross stuff, not actually racing it. I did a couple like little like Wednesday night races at a local like Aztec track. Did a couple of those things. They're pretty intense, I don't want to get hurt, and I really like doing them, but man, it's like you're like going to war or something. But yeah, anyhow, I like doing like single track, like super technical stuff in the mountains, like slow, rocky, and then like fast, and I don't know, I love single track. And then especially Colorado, there's so much of it around, and didn't really have a chance to do any last year or much the year before. I had that, it was an 08 Honda CR250FR, CRF 250R. It's the one with the dual exhaust. That thing was kind of a pain in the butt to start. I mean, if you killed it, it just like would not start. It was it's a motocross bike, so the suspension is a little bit more stiffer. Which was really good for me, because I like riding a little bit more like fast and aggressive, and so the firm suspension was all right. But the gas tank was pretty small. There's no headlight. There's no the transmission was pretty short, so you were shifting quite a bit. Whereas this thing, it has the 6-speed wide ratio transmission. It has a 2.2 gallon fuel tank. It has a headlight. It has a tail light, so it's easily converted over to street legal, which it looks like that's what they had it done with the with the plate on it or whatever. So I don't think it would be too big of a deal to actually get this thing street registered. Because initially I thought it'd be sweet to do like a supermoto conversion with this, but honestly, that's just too many bikes that I would have right now. So plan is to get rid of the ZX6, get rid of the KTM, keep the 350, and keep the KLX110 as the little pit bike and kind of mess around the shop bike, and then you'll hopefully get this thing registered and be able to ride it on the street. It should be really convenient. I can just ride it to some local trails around here, or you could just load it in the bed of the truck and then just go up and just kind of explore or whatever. So I plan on, initially I wanted to have Jamie try and ride this KLX today, but we didn't really have time, and went to like family birthday party, and you know, baby was a little bit fussy, so after that kind of took them home, and I came down here for a little bit and tried to get a couple things done. Yeah, I literally this is my like dream bike as far as like a KTM. I've wanted a 350 for so long. Never found anybody to actually let me ride one, but super stoked when I actually first rode it, how like good it feels. You know me, I'm about 160 pounds, and you know, 450 is just too much. 250 is like all right, but you know, you always want just like a little bit more. Honestly, I think this is literally like the perfect bike for me. The other thing is the price. So these things are currently selling for around 68 to like 7,500, or a little bit more actually. So this bike new was $9,800, so like almost $10,000 for a dirt bike. And so I got this thing at less than half of its like retail price. You know, so that's well below what they typically sell for. So a lot of you guys always, you know, a couple of you guys comment on my videos when I buy a bunch of random crap like this, and you know, wonder like how I do it, or how I'm able to do it. And essentially, it's just that, is not losing money on things. So I mean, I could turn around and relist this bike right now and sell it and make decent money on it, or I could ride it for 2 or 3 seasons almost and probably sell it and break even, just like perfectly even, like minus the cost of maintenance. And that's pretty much how my whole life has been since high school. You know, all the cars and projects and, you know, trucks and everything. You know, it's just like you just kind of trade the money around. You don't really lose it. A lot of times you make money on things. You know, and I owe a lot to that, to like patience. You know, I wasn't actively looking for this 350. I was kind of browsing around, but it wasn't like I was going, I wanted one so bad I was going to go out tomorrow and get one. And that's why, you know, I stumbled across this this KTM, this first one, and I was like, hey, like that would be an awesome bike to try and trade to get to one of these. But it just so happens, like, I don't know, I just couldn't pass this up. At that auction, I told him what I wanted to bid up to. He bid up to it, and we actually got it for less than what I was willing to go for it. So yeah, that was super awesome. I couldn't believe that actually worked out that well. And then with this bike, I could almost sell it. I could probably sell this bike for close to 5-ish, you know. And then in that aspect, that's almost like trading that for this, like, you know. So you really can't beat that. And this is a 2016 with 20 hours on it. The gear shift was missing off of it, and I almost feel like that was because they didn't want people riding it around. But yeah, so the battery seemed to have charged itself up a little bit. Yeah, I like that it also has, you know, it has a low fuel light. It has the hour meter, the trip meter, you know, it tells you your speed and all that stuff, which is always nice when you're out on the trail. I've always wanted a bike with a headlight, because you get in some stuff after dark, and you know, you're rushing to get back because you don't have headlights or anything. So like I said, this is almost best case scenario that I found this exact bike with such low hours. I'm still kind of waiting to figure out like the catch, if there's anything like really wrong with it, and why it actually went for so cheap at that auction. So far, I mean, I rode it around for, you know, 15-20 minutes today, and it felt super solid and dialed. So now I just need to do all the maintenance things to it. Sorry, this is kind of a dirt bike ramble. Put the voltage regulator on this thing, order that harness, maybe clean this thing up just a smidge more, and should be able to basically sell that. This bike, I'm tempted, since it does kind of do that weird like popping grind, not grinding, it just does that weird like popping out of gear type of thing. Doesn't really pop out, it like pops out and then goes like right back in and kind of jerks, and it's kind of funny. Debating on actually fixing it or just trying to get rid of it how it is. I don't know, I just have too many other projects going on. KLX, I'm pretty stoked about that. It's actually, you know, seems like it's in decent shape now that I did a couple little tweaks to it, kind of made it, you know, just kind of tightened things up on it is pretty much all I did. So need to figure out this rear hub, probably get some bearings or whatever, figure out that. And then I think this is going to be a super solid pit bike. Jamie could kind of ride around on it if we go camping and stuff. She could kind of ride around and mess around with that, like, you know, close to the campground. And then, you know, I'd also like to give a huge shout out to my buddy Sean down in Dallas, Texas. He has a YouTube channel. It's Mustang09, but he basically went out and picked this thing up and went on like a wild goose chase to pick this thing up for me. And I don't know, I felt super bad doing it. And he's like, hey dude, he's like, it's no worries. So, you know, I made sure to take care of him. You know, but yeah, we should be. That's pretty much it. So sorry that this kind of went off on a long ramble tangent or whatever, but I'm actually going to order the wiring harness for this thing now, and just basically wait for that thing to come in, clean up some other parts on it, and still got some things I need to order for the 1J over there for Derek, and should be putting my engine back together as far as the oil pan and everything sometime this week. Don't worry about that. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.